Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Practical JavaScript. Today I'll be teaching you how to add this waveform to your website. This is just a simple JavaScript animation to Canvas. Let's get right into it. So I've set up the document. This is the document I'll be using. No animation for now, and this is the code here. So we have just a simple HTML body here. So if you just want to look at it, you can pause the video and look at the code. Let me just do like this. Pause the video, look at the code. So here we have our CSS. We have our CSS here. Alright, we have an empty JavaScript. So the first thing we do is to add canvas. And because it's, in some cases it's going to go, some screen sizes are more than 1050. So what we will just do is we would have a div that hides the extra length. So I'm just going to call it canvas box. Okay, great. So we have this canvas. For now it will not do anything because we've not animated the canvas yet. So we have our canvas. Okay, canvas box. Make it canvas box here. Okay, and that should make it work. Okay, now it's not overflowing. Good, that's what we want. So next thing we want to do is to get the element. Good, I like how this semicolon. Then the next thing is to initialize the context. Okay, now that we have gotten the context, so next is we are going to draw. So let me create a function for the drawing, and the first thing you want to do is to do context.begin part. So let me just illustrate what this is doing here with Photoshop here. So when you do context, that means you're ready to start drawing. When you call begin part, what it's saying is that you've started your point. The next thing is line 2. So when I do that, it means I am going to a new point and I'm clicking it. So that this line here will be drawn. That is what it means by saying line 2. Here I can now put the x and the y coordinate. So begin part line 2. Let me say that the y coordinate is you know what we mean by y coordinate and x coordinate, right? It means something like this, like that. This is the y coordinate and this is the x. Anytime I want to draw a line, I have to use this coordinate. If I'm going up, I will increase the value of y. If I'm going down, I reduce the value of y. If I'm going from left to right, I will increase the value of x. If I'm going from right to left, I will reduce the value of x. So that's just it. The next thing is now the context dot close part. Close part means, or we don't even need this if we are using context dot close part. It means that from here we are closing the part to where we began. Then the next thing you will do is to fill it up. So we can do context.fill style. What style do you want to use to fill up the new rectangle that you've created? Then context.fill. You can say like this. Now the next thing we'll do is to call the function draw, and let's see how it renders. So we can see this small red here. Let me increase it. So let me make the y-axis like 20 so that you can see it very well. You see how it's increased here. Let me add this because it's not okay. Now you see how it is here. So this is this is how you draw on the canvas. For what we want to do, we will not be using this line 2, because if we are to write this line 2, we'll be writing like 1000 lines of line 2. We are going to use a for loop. So I saw a solution that helped me achieve what I wanted to do. And this solution was provided by Joe Edon. Thank you for the solution. So what he did was that in order to get a curved line, because what we want to do for the waveform is to do something like this. it's not perfect, but then we want a very, very seamless sine wave. That's what we want, and that's the formula he gave here, which makes sense, by Joe Edon on Stack Overflow. So we're going to copy that exactly, but we'll not be using the stroke because we don't need it. What we just need is this formula here, and that's what we'll be using. All right, so we'll be putting before the fill parts. Okay, great. So I'm going to change the value of this to 10, and because I want you to see how it works, let me complete the triangle. So I'll be doing ctx.line2. So here we'll be doing canvas.width, because now it's already, the x-axis is at the end of the screen. After this, the x-axis will be at the end of the screen, and now we want to drop the y-axis to another point. So I'll be doing -60. Then now it's at the lower end of the screen. We want to bring it back to the beginning of the screen. So that means x-axis will become 0, and while this one will still remain like this. Then we close the part. So that is what we want to do. Let's see how it works now. Okay, I directly copied from, so he used his own variable. We're using canvas here, so I'm going to be changing the canvas here, canvas here, canvas here. Also, this one is his own variable, and we use context. So let's change that. Okay, that should work now. Okay, now you see that we have our sine wave, and that's what we want. Very, very beautiful sine wave. So this was made possible by this formula. Okay, great. So now what we want to, now let me let you understand this. Whenever you are animating a canvas, what you are basically doing is you are redrawing every frame, just like basic animation. So there isn't any form of animation per se. You're just drawing every frame. For example, if I want to show a moving box, I will draw the box. This is frame 1. The next frame, I'll change the position of the box. That's frame 2. And the next frame, I'm going to change the position of the box. So when I play it together, it will look as if the box is moving from this point to this point. Right? That is how the animation will work. So in order for us to make the animation, we're going to call this draw multiple times, but we'll be tweaking the variables in order to change the position of the lines. That's basically what we're doing. So now I'm going to use set interval with a very small timeout and with the function. So this function is going to call the draw multiple times. So if I just do this now, it's just continue calling the draw, and there won't be any change because it's the same thing we are drawing over and over. We need to tweak the variable, and for a wave, the variable that is changing the most is actually the height of the wave. That's what is changing, and what determines the height of the wave, which is the y-axis. This is the y-axis variable here, and this is what I would like, because this is like the variable here, I. This is the one that changes because every time the wave forms, we have a change here. So now I'm going to use my own y. And I'll set it to 0 here. So the reason is I want to be able to change it from outside. So let me just make it, let y equals to 0. Awesome. Then here, when this is called, I'll increase y by, let me just increase y by 10. And here. So every time this is called, y will be increased by 10. And because I don't want it to be an infinite variable, if y equal to, let's say 1000, let us clear the timeout. So now let me do this. Timeout ID. Right? That's what we're going to do. Then we'll clear the timeout here. So it will not be an infinite loop. That's great. Because normally I was increasing when it was here. We need to make sure that y also increases when it is here. So we're increasing y here. We are also increasing y here. This y equals 0, it's supposed to be for the function here, because that is what would change this here. So that's what we're supposed to do. Okay, now it's working. But the reason it's not showing like a wave is because the frame is not being cleared. So when one frame is written, before the next frame is written, we need to clear the former frame. That is what we're supposed to do. So here we'll just do clear old frame. So here we're going to call clear part. So that should clear it. So so you see now, you see the wave forming. Good. That is what we want. But now this is not supposed to be. So we're going to use the background of let's use the background of the body as this. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to make sure that this color blends with the background of the top. So let's check what is the color of the top here. Okay, sky, which is this. Okay, now, and that's what we're going to use here. Okay, also now it blends. Okay, so when we do this and we check, we see that it blends. Awesome, that is what we want. And okay, I can see that it's cutting off at the edge here. Let's use 1350 or 450. Let's be generous with the width. Okay, good. So that's how you can add wave to your website. It's beautiful. And this is just like for a demonstration. There are different ways you can animate this button. You can animate this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.